All right, so this is a video about how to access Music First and how to use Music First. So the very first thing we're going to do is type in Grand Ledge school links into Google, and it pops up right as the first link here on the Grand Ledge website. My screen is massive because I was using it to show the students, so I had it projected. So this is what it should look like for you when you get there. Under students and staff, you're going to come over to this right-hand column and go to Music First. And this is the link to get to our login for Music First. Your username and password is going to be the first half of your email or your Chromebook login. All right, I'm going to use my fake student account. So this is Hayes, and his account has Hayes as the first part of his email, and then the second part of his email is at glcomets.net. For this username, we are not going to do this part of the email. It's just this first half. For other students, it might be the first two, I think it's the initials, and then it's 4 numbers or something like that, 5 numbers. So username, same thing that they put into their Chromebook at school, and then password, same thing, same password that they use at school. All right. Once they've gotten that, you log in. If students need help with remembering what their login is and their password, I can send that information to you. Just let me know. Students should know this, though. They use the Chromebooks in class, so they should know how to do that. All right. Once you get into your account, you should have these 2 and later on this 3rd class. All right. So this first one here, Beagle and Hayes beginning band deadline class, parentheses, always start and end here, and parentheses. This is where I'm going to be posting all of their assignments. All right. So this is where they're going to want to start. This class has the book in it. Habits of a Successful Beginner Band Musician is the book that they use, and this has the lines from it. So what I like to do is I like to open these in multiple tabs so that I can always come over here if I need to. So on a Chromebook, you would use 2 fingers and tap once, and it would open up this drop down here. It's like a right click. You can click open link in new tab. So I like to do that. I try to show that to the students so that they know how to do it. Okay, in here, this is where I post what the homework assignment is. It's going to be dated. So this one says 9/21 practice. And it's a link that you click right on the name of it. Okay, and once you click into it, there's all these instructions here. I'm going to go back for a second. If there are multiples here, the oldest one is on top. And again, you can look at the date that's in the name, and that will explain it. Once the student has done and completed the assignment, and once I get around to grading it, this will go away. I will take it off of their overview list. So if there's nothing showing up here, they don't have any assignments. If there's a list here, then they probably haven't submitted something in there, and they should go and look for my comment. Okay, let's click on it. I am a huge, I don't know, stickler. I don't know that I want to say stickler, but read all the instructions. Please follow all the instructions. I write out all the details. Everything you need to know to do it successfully is written in the directions. So please, please, please read the directions. All right, number 1. Go to your Habits of a Successful Beginner Band Musician class. This is why I opened it in a new tab, because I'm going to have to go back to this dashboard page now and open this one up. So I'm going to do that same 2 fingers, tap once, open link in new tab. All right, and then I'm going to open it up. Okay, so now I'm inside the Habits of a Successful Beginner Band Musician page. I can tell because right up here at the very top underneath my red home button, it says it right there. Okay, cool. Step 1 is done. Step 2, start a timer. At this point, you can look at the clock on the wall of wherever you're practicing, or look at the clock that's on your computer and just make a mental note of when you started practicing. I like to actually pull up a timer, so I come to another tab here and type in the word timer. And I don't actually use this timer. I use the stopwatch. And this just keeps track of how long I've been practicing. All right. And I'll get to why we do that in just a second here. Step 3, open your line 1 assignment. Okay, so this is going to be back at our Habits of a Successful Beginner Band Musician class. So come over to your second tab here, or I guess 4th tab over. I can delete some of these so that, there we go, this tab. All right. And it said open line 1. Well, I don't see anything on my page that says line 1. What I have to do is I need to scroll down, okay? And it's at this bottom part here. This class description here, you can fold that up by clicking this button here. That way it's not distracting and in the way. And then this pops up on top of the screen. But if you do see this, all you have to do is 2 fingers scroll down. All right, and you click on exercise 1. Now, if you notice on our instructions page over here, this said line 1 assignment. Well, this doesn't say line 1. Well, exercise and line are the same thing. They mean the same thing. It's just using a different word for it. I tend to use the word line in class. We're playing line 1. Now we're playing line 2. But this program likes to call it exercise 1. So that's where the word discrepancy comes in. Just know that they're the same thing. Okay, great. We've opened that one up. So number 3 is done. We can cross that off our list. Number 4, follow the directions for that assignment. Come back over. We've got to follow the directions. We read through all of these. Open your book to page 3, exercise 1. So as I'm sitting here, I've got my instrument out already. I have my music stand put together, and I've got my green book from class, my Green Habits book, sitting on top of that music stand. You always want to have your paper book at the ready, because when you're practicing, there will come moments where you'll need to write something into your music. And as awesome as this computer technology is, it doesn't beat paper and pencil in some aspects. Your brain is going to remember stuff if you write it in. So having that paper book next to you to read off of, sometimes just to read off of it, is really helpful for students because they struggle to read it off the screen. But having that book open so that they can write in it is really, really helpful. All right, number 2, watch the video for your instrument. Today I've got my flute out, so I'm going to click flute again. I'm going to open it in a new tab. What I did just then is I hit Command click. It might work differently on a Chromebook. So if you are using a Chromebook, you're going to want to do that 2-finger tap and then open in a new tab. Okay. All right, and so this is our coach. And she's going to show us how we should be holding the instrument, how we should be shaping our embouchure or placing our lips on the instrument to make sound, and how to play the lines. We get to listen and watch at the same time. So you're going to watch through that. Number 3, play the video again and sing the exercise using the solfege syllable so. So what you do is you come back here, go back to the beginning, and as she plays, you sing along with her like this. So you do that all the way through. All right. Number 3 is done. We're going to pretend we did it all the way through. Number 4, play the video again and sing the exercise using the letter name of the note. So I'm looking at my green book here, and my note is on the top line. I know that if I count the lines bottom to top in treble clef, it is every good band deserves fudge, and fudge starts with an F. So I know that the letter name of that note on the top line is F. So when she's playing, I'm going to sing. And I'll sing F every time she does it for the whole line. Pretend I did it all the way through. Number 4 is done. Finally, number 5, play along with your coach. So at this point, I'm going to double check my fingering in the book. I'm going to see if I can make my fingers match that on my instrument. And then I'm going to play along with this video, okay? So it's going to sound like this. We're going to pretend we did that all the way through. I don't know if you could hear me play with her or if you could even hear her over me. Who knows? Let's pretend 5 is done. All right, we did that all the way through. You can do any of these steps more than once and get more practice in. Okay, Step 6, play with the accompaniment. I'm going to right click open this page, this tab. This is my video. I'm going to go ahead and close that because I don't need it anymore. So that's what our accompaniment sounds like. You get 4 clicks in, all right? So it's going to sound like this. And all the way through. Again, I demoed this in class, so I'm not going to go all the way through with it because they've already heard it. They know what's going on. So play along with the accompaniment. I've done that. I can do it more than once, and I feel solid on that. So 6 is crossed off. And then 7, horns and fifth play with this accompaniment. So this applies only to the French horn players. So if you're not a French horn player, you can skip forward through like for a minute. French horn players, you guys have, especially up here in this video portion, you have horn and fifth. So in your book, I believe it is the left side of the page. That's horn, and it's the part that lines up with the rest of the class. And on the right side of the page, it's the exact same thing. It says line 1, line 2, line 3, just like it did on the other page. But it says horn and fifth. What that is that the French horn, the way that we teach band is not the best way to teach horn. So if you were to learn French horn just on your own and take private lessons, you would be starting with notes in this horn in fifth kind of range. It's more of the middle of the instrument. It's easier to play. And that's where you would start. However, if you try to play those notes in band, it means that the rest of the band is playing notes that are either crazy low or crazy high. Or if you're playing these notes, you're not going to be playing the same note as people next to you. The sound is not going to be the same. The pitch is different. And so what we do is that, unfortunately for horn players, their first year, it's not really the full year. The first bit of their first year, they just kind of have to learn those really high and really low notes to be able to play in unison with the rest of the band. So when you do this section, French horn players, I recommend do it with the band note, the in-class note for this video and this accompaniment here, number 6. And then also jump over to the right side of your page and do it in horn and fifth and play along with the horn and fifth accompaniment here. This one's going to feel more comfortable for your face. All right. Both of these are valuable. All right. And learning both at the same time is going to put you a bit ahead of the other people in the band because you're learning more notes. They eventually will know these notes, but it's going to take them a bit longer. If you're learning both of these at the same time, not only are you developing your face or your face muscles in a good and healthy way, it's also putting you ahead of everybody else. So that's a really good skill. I highly recommend that you do both of these, okay? For everybody else, horn in fifth, just ignore it. You are not a French horn player, so you do not need to do that. Okay. The bottom part of this, tips, count the exercise while tapping your foot, down, up motion on the beat. We've talked about our foot tap in class. They should always be practicing with your foot tap. Go all the way to beat 1 for the release of whole notes. We've talked about that in class. Use the metronome at quarter note equals 66. If you did not get a metronome, that's okay. You can come over here and type in metronome into the Google search here, and you can put it at quarter note equals 66. Now this says BPM. BPM stands for beats per minute. It's the same thing. So sometimes your quarter note will be your beat, and sometimes a half note or a whole note will be a beat, or an eighth note will be your beat, but that's far off into your future. Just think about the quarter note as being your beat per minute for right now. And so you can play along with this metronome here, which is what we usually do in class, is I just use this one up here because it's the easiest one for me to put through the speaker system. All right. Metronome at quarter note equals 66 if you're going to play it without any of these recordings. Check your posture, hand position, and embouchure. So students should be sitting with really good posture all the time that they are playing. Percussionists should be standing when they practice. And students should be sitting or standing depending on their instrument. I think bassoon and French horn are probably, tuba, big instruments. Those ones are probably the only ones I say that you are required to sit. As a flute player, I would stand often when I was practicing. But if you do sit, make sure that you're not sitting on a squishy surface, like on your bed or something like that, where you're going to sink back or sink down. It might put some pressure on your spine that you don't want to have. Or it might make your posture just a little wonky because you're sinking in or sinking back. Try to find a folding chair or a hard wooden kitchen chair, something like that, to sit in so that you've got a good posture. And then as a result, good hand position and air support and embouchure. All right. For mallets, yeah, mallets and for snare, all percussion does all of these. So percussion, you're going to do mallets and you're going to do it on the snare drum. So you get to do it 2 times over. Woohoo! And these are your resources here. All right. At the very bottom, it says launch, practice first, and select your instrument, record and submit exercise 1. Where you go from here is you click this lovely little button up here. It says open and practice first. I'm going to do my right click so I open it in another tab because I am all about the tabs. Okay. When I open that tab, oftentimes it's going to look like this for students, and they're going to go, oh my gosh, what is this? What's going on? All right. What you got to do is come to this drop down and click whatever your instrument is. So if you're trombone, you click trombone, French horn, you click French horn. Sometimes for French horn, there's going to be 2. So this one says horn and fifths. There's probably another French horn in this drop down list. There isn't. Interesting. I'll have to look into that. I'm going to pick flute because I have my flute out today. All right. So launch, practice first, and select your instrument. Done. Record and submit exercise 1. All right, so here we are. This is the real meat and potatoes of the practicing here. Okay, so this is the part of the software that I am most excited about. When you get here, not only can you hear it played by your coach, show you that. Like that, but you can record with it and then hear yourself. It'll play it back to you, and it will also give you immediate feedback, just like if you're sitting there with a teacher and that teacher is one-on-one with you in that moment, which is really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and play along with this. I am going to play some things purposefully incorrectly so that you can see the feedback that it gives me. All right. So what I do is I hit record, make sure my sound is up so I can hear the metronome. All right. So it gives me this feedback. My overall score here gives me a couple of stars. Length played, this means did you play the entire way through or did you give up halfway? Pitch score, this has to do with the notes. Is the note correct? Is the sound correct? And then rhythm, that has to do with did you play in the right spots at the right time or did you not? Okay. So I'm not going to submit this quite yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my feedback. So I'm going to either click the X up here or click close. Okay. And this is my feedback line. So if I wanted to, right now I could click play and listen to myself. It'll play it back to me. And actually right now it's playing the demo audio. So what I did is I came down here, clicked more under playback options. So track, playback options, demo audio. Right now I want to hear what my recording was. So I'm going to click matched recording because I know that I played that note wrong and it just sounded correct. Come on. Quit flipping back over. Stay. See if I can get it to work. There we go. Okay, so that one was me. So I can listen to myself playing back. And then this line down here will tell me if it's a different color, it is a wrong note. All right, so this one I hover over, it says wrong note D. So this note is supposed to be an F. We know it's an F because every good band deserves fudge. Fudge starts with an F, and that's our top line in treble clef. And I did play a D at that moment. So I had the wrong sound. And then expected silence at the end, I held it over too long. Now the line got a little wiggly there because the rhythm was wrong. So whenever the rhythm is incorrect, it does a little wiggle like this. If all of my rhythm was correct, it'd be a straight line. And if all of my pitch or all of my notes were correct, it would be completely green. And so, yep, it caught those moments of me doing it incorrectly. All right. This is a moment we want to go back to this original instructions page. As I'm demoing this to you, I did not read through all of this before I went and did it. When I was teaching it in class, I made sure to highlight to the students, you need to read through all of this and then go over and follow it. The reason for is when I was talking to you, I had just stopped at open your line 1 assignment, follow the directions for that assignment. This is the part that has to do with that assignment. Practice until you get at least 80% accuracy or 20 minutes, whatever comes first, okay? So as I played through it, let me get back over to my music first. I click on my stars again to see what I got. I got a 79. So I did not hit my 80% goal, and I think that I can play it better. So I'm going to keep going. Now, I want to make sure that I'm not overdoing my time, right? So I've got 17 minutes on the clock. I'm not at 20 minutes yet. I have a little bit of time. I should redo this. So what I'm going to do is click retry. And at that point, it's going to automatically start a recording again. Okay. So here I go. I'm going to retry it and see if I can get it correct. All right. Okay. So this one gave me a 73. Length played 100, pitch score 99, rhythm score 48. What's going on? All right. So at this point, this is an interesting thing. It says that I held it a little too long here. See how it's wiggly? This means my rhythms were off. Rhythm error long. Rhythm error long. Okay. So what I could do is I've got 18 minutes. I still have time. I could still get that better. But you know what? I'm really sure that I played that correctly. I'm going to listen to it. Yeah, you know, that sounds like a whole note. That sounds like I'm starting on one, I'm releasing on one. These are all the things that my teacher talked about in class. I'm really sure I did it right. So at this point in time, 73, but I know it was right. I'm going to just click submit to teacher. So sometimes when you're practicing, this is a really, really amazing tool. Sometimes it still doesn't get things right. And in that moment, I can come through, I as the teacher, I can come through and listen to it after it's been submitted. And I will determine whether or not, oh, yep, the computer just didn't line it up correctly in the recording, or no, it was right. You had a couple of errors in there. Let's try this one again. And I can either reassign it to you for you to do the next practice session, or I can pass you off of it, even though that score was a bit lower than what it planned on being or what you wanted it to be. Okay. Let's play, or let's say, for example, that I'm going to stop our timer over here. let's say that first time through, that first time I had recorded it, let's say I got an 85. All right. That's higher than 80%. 85 is better than 80%. Okay. At that point in time, I was at like 16, 17 minutes on the timer here. Since I had made it to 80% or made it higher than 80%, I could go ahead and click submit to teacher at that point. And I would be done. I'd be done practicing. Did I get to my 20 minutes at that point? No, I was at 16, 17 minutes, but that's okay. That's what this means. Practice until you get at least 80% accuracy or 20 minutes, whatever comes first. All right. So now let's say, all right, this is a good example. I got a 73. All right. And I'm really, maybe I didn't know if it was correct or not. And I'm really frustrated. This is like the 7th time I've done it. And look at my timer. I'm at 20 minutes, pretty much. I'll give it another 10 seconds here. I'm at 20 minutes. I'm not going to keep going. Okay. When students are first starting on their instruments, there's the tendency to just push through and just keep on going and I'm just going to muscle it out. Well, your muscles aren't developed yet. These face muscles that you are using to play your instrument have not been fully developed yet because you haven't been playing your instrument very long. And so the longer you go, the worse you're going to do because your lips are so tired. You just can't keep hitting the notes like that. So 20 minutes is really the maximum. You shouldn't go beyond 20 minutes, even if you haven't hit your goal, and you know you can do it. Just stop at 20 minutes, okay? Stop and take a break. If you go a couple hours after that, maybe you were doing this right after school and you get through dinner and you're like, you know what? I think I really want to try it and try it again. At that point, you can pull out your Chromebook again, pull out your instrument and try to get a higher recording. But don't go longer than 20 minutes straight through, okay? Because your muscles can't handle it yet. And it's just going to make you frustrated and it's just going to make you burnt out. So at least 80% or 20 minutes. Say I got to 20 minutes, I got 73. I know it's not an 80. I'm still going to click submit. Everybody click submit. All right. Everyone click submit, whether you got the 80 or not. Okay. Because I'm going to go through there and I'm going to check. And for the people that practiced for 20 minutes and they didn't get that 80, I'm going to listen to their recording and I'm going to give them some feedback. I'm going to say, hey, maybe try putting less mouthpiece in your mouth. Or are your teeth really anchored on the top of that clarinet mouthpiece? Double check your positioning of your mouthpiece to your lips, trumpet player. Make sure that you've got enough of your lip inside the mouthpiece and that you have given your lips enough room to vibrate. Okay, I'm going to give them some tips like that so that the next day when they go and attempt it again, they know something that will help them individually to improve. Okay, so 20 minutes are up. I have submitted regardless of what my score is. I'm going to click close out of that. Got my Zoom thing here in the way. Here we go. And I'm going to come back here. Submit that assignment. Done. Everybody submits the assignment. Everyone. I can't stress that enough. For percussionists, you need to do it on both your snare and mallet assignments. Percussionists, that's 20 minutes total between snare and mallets. Okay. So you've got a lot of stuff to cram into those 20 minutes, but again, keep it to 20. You can maybe push it to 30 because you're not using your face muscles. Okay. But, don't burn yourself out with this. Okay. I want you to like band. I don't want you to hate it because you're practicing so much. Okay. Number 7, return to this assignment. We are here, return to the assignment. In the text field, tell me how long you practiced, and then click submit. So I'm going to go ahead and say I practiced for 20 minutes. Okay, capital letter at the beginning of the sentence, period at the end, completely spelled out words in the middle here. All right, that is good enough. You can click submit response. Now, because I had a particular issue with mine where I think that I played it right, but it still gave me a 73. Here's a spot where I'm gonna write a note to my teacher. I'm gonna say, hey, Mrs. Hemker, I tried really hard and got a 73 even though I know I did it right. Could you please check it for me? Question mark. All right. Because it's a 73, I'm going to check it anyway. But this tells me, hey, I got to pay really close attention to it. All right. So I'll give a good focus on my end for it because he wrote this note for me. Okay. And then you click submit response. At that point, it says submissions no longer accepted. Once I've gone back and I've graded that, you're going to come back to, let me see, this page. Did you notice that this is no longer red? That's no longer red because you have submitted it. Okay. Now, if you were to come in here tomorrow and you're going to practice doing your practice for tomorrow, if you passed this assignment, so say I went in there, I listened to that 73% recording, and I'm like, you know what, they did pass that, that's fine. Then this one will disappear, okay? It will disappear, it won't be here anymore, and it'll just be your new assignment. However, say I went in there and I listened to that 73 and I'm like, no, they really did hang over too much. It wasn't the right note. I'll give them the feedback and then it will show back up as this being read. Okay. And it will have the option to submit again. There will also be a comment down here from me that they will see that gives them their feedback. So in this situation, yeah, you just come back here and check that. And that's it. That is the gist of the assignment that you've got going on here. I'm coming back to this home page just to explain this skills pass off. This will happen in the future, and I will make another video about that later on. But don't worry about this for now. And again, the students will not have this in their class yet. So it's just these ones here. So quick summary, always start here. I like to do a right click here. Let me close out of these, go back. Let's see if my internet will work to do it. I'd like to right click so that I have them pulled up. Okay. This first one is going to always be where the assignment is with all the directions. Read all the directions first, and then you go into your second class, close the description, and you can see the exercises here. These will disappear when they have been completed. And come back always come back to this first class and make sure that you submit it. Otherwise, I don't know that you've done it, okay? It's a separate part of my grade book when you submit it here versus when you submit it here. So I need you to submit in both places, okay? And that is how you use Music First. I may make a secondary video later about more intricate things in this practice first, in this line, this line software. It's called Practice First, and that will be coming to you in the future. Otherwise, reach out to me if you have any questions. Thank you.